Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today is day 26 of Autism Acceptance Month, and the prompt for today is talk about special interests. Do you have special interests? If not, do you wish you did? What do your special interests mean to you? What are your current special interests? And what are your past special interests? So yes, I absolutely do have special interests. There's hardly ever been a time where I didn't have at least one special interest, but I usually have at least two at a time. They tend to come and go. One year I might have one thing as a special interest, and another it might be something completely different. Even when something is no longer a special interest, it still tends to be something that I'm really fond of. For me, having special interests is a wonderful thing. There's nothing quite like the joy that I get from interacting with a special interest. So I'm going to go through some of my past special interests, from my earliest to my most recent ones. I might forget one or two that I've had, but I'll try to cover as much as I can. So, my very first special interest I had when I was really young, maybe about 6 years old. They were ancient Egypt and Pokemon. I would want to watch documentaries about ancient Egypt and read books about it all the time. It was a topic that fascinated me as a child. I could never stop learning enough about it, and Pokemon was like my life as a kid. I was constantly playing the games, watching the anime, collecting the cards. Ancient Egypt lasted as a special interest until I was maybe about 10, but Pokemon lasted until I was about 13 maybe. I suppose my next two biggest special interests were Lord of the Rings and Star Wars, which lasted for my entire middle school years. Lord of the Rings started because in 5th grade I took home from my school library a copy of The Hobbit and absolutely loved it. It was actually the book that got me into reading as a kid. From there, I went on to reading the Lord of the Rings series, and then I watched the movies. It got to the point I kind of made it a ritual to watch the Lord of the Rings movie almost every weekend. And Star Wars has always been a lifelong thing, but I just got more into it in my middle school days because I started reading all the books. And then, in high school, my biggest special interest was in the Roman Republic and Empire. I found it a topic that was fascinating, and I was constantly watching documentaries and reading about it. You could hardly get me not to talk about ancient Rome. After high school, I also had a brief special interest in the TV show Futurama, a show that I still really love. I also recently had special interest in the cartoon Steven Universe and the DuckTales reboot. They were both amazing shows, but my special interest in them kind of faded when the shows ended. And finally, there's my current special interest. The biggest being The Simpsons, which I've had since 2015. A TV channel was airing like a week-long marathon of every Simpsons episode ever, and I started watching it, and boom, new special interest. I also have a special interest in Disney. I'm really into the history of the movies, but the movies themselves are good too. You know, I've noticed over time that my special interests tend to follow a pattern. There's always some type of movie or show, usually animated, or there will be history related. I wonder if anyone else's special interest follows a pattern like that. Anyway, that's all for today. I'll see you guys tomorrow for the next day's prompt. Until then, goodbye.